Who is Bernard Arnault? Bernard Arnault, the French tycoon behind luxury goods group LVMH, has taken over from Twitter owner Elon Musk on the Bloomberg Billionaires Index to top the list of richest people for the first time. Never before has anyone from France or anywhere else in Europe claimed to have the greatest wealth in the world. So let's hop into the video and know more about him. High-profile figure. The 73-year-old has long been a high-profile figure on the Fortune's list, but unlike Musk and other billionaires, he makes little public appearances and is not personally active on social media. Well, he's trying to be mysterious, but we've covered everything about him in this video, so stay tuned till the end. While LVMH, Moet Hennessy, Louis Vuitton exudes luxury with 75 brands from Dom Perignon to Christian Dior and Tiffany & Co., it seeks restraint in a country where ostentatious displays of wealth are frowned upon. Mr. Arnault, whose estimated fortune is $170.8 billion, used European expertise to grow LVMH into the world's largest luxury goods conglomerate. This is the training ground for aspiring designers who want to stand out. Marc Jacobs and the late Virgil Abloh at Louis Vuitton, Raf Simons at Christian Dior, and Phoebe Philo at Celine. They all infuse traditional brands with novelty that keeps them relevant to young consumers. While sluggish markets have also eaten away at Arnault's fortune this year, his fortune has shrunk by an estimated $7.2 billion in 2022. He's fared better than the tech billionaire turned rich who dominate the world. This is because the demand for high-end products remains strong despite the easing of the COVID-19 crisis. Everything about Bernard. Paris-based LVMH generated sales of around 64 billion euros last year, a significant recovery from the depths of the pandemic in 2020. Arnault and his family own about 48% of the company, with 64% of the voting rights at the annual report. Arnault's representatives did not immediately respond for a request for comment. Mr. Arnault was born in Roubaix in northern France in 1949, and he graduated from the elite engineering school École Polytechnique. He continued to work in the family business Ferré-Savenel, which focused on industrial construction, before moving to the United States in 1981, where he entered real estate development. He returned to France and entered the luxury goods industry in 1984 when he took over Boussac Sans Frères, a bankrupt textile group that owned a jewel, Christian Dior. He spun most of the company's other businesses and in 1989 leveraged his wealth to buy a majority stake in LVMH, whose two main companies, Louis Vuitton and Moet Hennessy, had merged in 1987. Over the next 3 decades, he turned LVMH into a luxury behemoth, selling champagne, wine, spirits, fashion, leather goods, watches, jewelry, hotel accommodations, perfumes, and cosmetics in more than 5,500 stores worldwide. He immediately realized that China would become his main market, and he opened the first Louis Vuitton store in Beijing in 1992. LVMH, Europe's largest, with a market value of 365.7 billion euros, lifted the age limit for its chief executive earlier this year. This would allow Arnault to remain in office until he's 80 years old, a sign that he intends to rule longer. In an attempt to remain inconspicuous, Arnault said in October that LVMH had sold its private jet. Twitter accounts follow billionaire jets to shame them for their carbon emissions, and the issue's become a hot topic in France, with several politicians proposing to ban or tax private jets. With all these stories, the group is a plane and we sold it, said Arnault at Radio Classique, which is owned by LVMH. LVMH and Mr. Arnault have also had some downsides. He was beaten by Mr. François Pinault, one of the richest men in France, in his purchase of Gucci, now part of Kering. MRT also ran aground in a hostile takeover attempt by Herman International, maker of Birkin bags owned by the country's wealthiest families. A member of the Hermes clan called him the Wolf in Kashmir because of his predatory attitude when he attempted to take over their company. Arnault's dynasty. Well, we can now see the great empire of Bernard Arnault. He's building his dynasty at LVMH. His second child, Antoine, who's 45, has just been given an expanded role at a parent company, Christian Dior SE. Known for growing a strict diet and playing tennis regularly, Arnault is also an art collector, and in 2014, he oversaw the opening of the Fondation Louis Vuitton, a monumental private art museum in Paris. The venue is a private monumental art museum designed by the architect Frank Gehry to house LVMH's corporate collections and those of Mr. Arnault. The Bloomberg Wealth Index estimates that the bulk of Arnault's wealth comes from his 97.5% stake in Christian Dior, which in turn controls about 41% of LVMH. The family owns another stake in LVMH of about 6%. Arnault has about % billion in cash and other assets, based on analysis that % risk dividends, taxes, and charitable donations. He's the centrosome to the top Bloomberg Wealth Index since its debut in 2012. He's achieved what no one could without extremely hard work, perseverance, and patience. So that was all for today. I hope you like your video. See you in the next video.